Hey guys, so had to go for a second. We try to fit this in between customers when I can. We open at 11, so I was filming as we were talking, but wanted to jump right back into it. I was just about to close, almost made it, but didn't quite get there. So really real quick recap, guys, if you're not watching, if you watched the first one, or you didn't watch the first one, we were discussing what hemp is. Hemp 101. Hemp is cannabis sativa with less than 0.3% delta-9 THC. We can create hemp products by extracting the CBD or full hemp extract from the hemp flower, okay? And then you can put that extract into a whole host of products, vapable products, smokable products, edible products, is where we were, to find relief, okay? As we were mentioning before, smokables are your instantaneous, quick duration, quick onset, quick duration. You smoke it or you vape it, you feel it instantaneously, it's over within 2 hours. CBD oil is your intermediate release, intermediate duration. You feel within 15 to 30 minutes. It lasts 3 to 5 hours. So most people use CBD 2 to 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Edibles are your long onset, long duration, taking an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on your metabolism to kick in, but lasting with you for 6 to 8 hours. So most people use edibles as their long-term coverage. What does that leave? Well, right there in the middle of those two are teas and coffee, okay? Tea is a really, really good way to get CBD in your system because hemp flower, is a flower, right? And so you can actually break up the flower buds and put them into tea bags along with other tea. This one's our Brother's Apothecary. This is an herbal hibiscus tea, okay? Has tea bags in it, which each tea bag has hemp flower in it. And so you get about 50 to 60 milligrams of CBD per serving or per bag, okay? So why would you do that? Well, when you drink it, as soon as it goes into your digestive system, guys, what is it, right? It really becomes an edible, right? It's now going through your digestive system. However, when you sip a hot beverage like tea or coffee, one, you're sipping it slowly, so there is some sublingual absorption. Also, when you heat up the cannabinoids, you actually make them more bioavailable, i.e. your body is better able to absorb them. And so by sipping tea, you're getting some sublingual absorption, some digestive absorption, but because the tea and coffee are hot and heated, you're getting a little bit of additional absorption and it absorbs a little bit quicker. I find that drinking tea kicks in around the same time as tincture, maybe a little bit longer, about 30 minutes is when I feel my tea. Tea is really good for nighttime relief, falling asleep, getting to sleep. I want instantaneous or very quickly to feel relaxed and go to bed, right? But because there's that edible side too, it can help you stay asleep a little bit longer, okay? So that is teas and drinks. Now, also in that edible category are capsules. We carry capsules. I also have people come in and ask for honey. Honey, capsules, chocolate, gummies, anything that you are swallowing and is going into your stomach to being digested is considered an edible, okay? So a capsule, technically, you can see my logo for edibles, is a capsule. A capsule is an edible, okay? Even though you're not chewing it, you are swallowing it, it's going into your digestive system and being absorbed through your digestive system, going through first pass metabolism, okay? Now, another format that we don't really carry because it's just not that popular, okay? You can also absorb CBD or cannabis in a suppository. Yes, so there are companies who make CBD and cannabinoid infused suppositories, coconut suppositories. Many of them are actually formulated for female use during, always so uncomfortable talking about this stuff, during their menstrual cycles, okay? Really, really good for release of cramps, pain release, anxiety, stress relief, that all come with that, and mood enhancement, right? And so they can actually be used as a vaginal suppository or an anal suppository. We just don't carry those because I just don't have anybody asking for it. In fact, most of the ladies that I work with who do use hemp or CBD for menstrual cramps and things like that tend to just find that edibles and tincture work just fine for them, and they don't need the suppository. So we kept suppositories in stock back in the fridge for a while, didn't really ever sell them, and so we haven't brought them back in. But if suppository is something that you're looking for and you want us to carry some for you, just call me privately, don't message that, and we'll find you some. So, great, so there we are. So there's your main delivery formats, okay? I should have brought this up before. But Corey made me this really cool board, and they're your delivery formats, right? So your edibles, long onset, long duration. Your sublingual is your intermediate duration, intermediate onset, and your inhalables are your quick onset, quick duration. So the last one you see there is topicals, okay? Well, topical products are lotions and creams and salves that the CBD has been infused into for localized topical pain. My shoulder hurts, my chest hurts, some of my football injuries. Someone's calling me. I gotta hang it up. Who dares call me during a Facebook Live? The nerve of some people to not turn your ringer off, Eric. Sorry. So topicals, lotions and creams, really good for rolling on to a certain area and finding localized relief of that area. My old football injuries, my shoulder, my chest, I use topicals for relief there, but it's really just that area that does not tend to, the CBD will not penetrate into your bloodstream, and you can only expect topical relief in a certain area. A lot of those products also include things like BioFreeze or Camphor to give additional relief like icy hot wood. So a lot of folks are making like our CBDMD Freeze product, which is BioFreeze and CBD combined into one product, help people find some relief. So that's your topical products that you use externally, okay? So let's talk about some other interesting products. So when we talk about CBD oil, we have all kinds of different CBD oil, okay? I showed you before what it looks like. Well, I was mentioning that hemp has 180 cannabinoids that we know of, each of which we believe have some medicinal properties, okay? So I've been talking about CBD. CBD is the most prevalent cannabinoid in dried cannabis and dried hemp, but it's not the only one, right? There's up to 180 other cannabinoids. Because hemp is now federally legal, we have hundreds and hundreds of scientists and researchers who are finally legally allowed to research cannabis and the medicinal and therapeutic effects of all these other minor cannabinoids, okay? So if you have followed my page or you know me personally, I'm a big fan of Delta-8 THC. It's a new phytocannabinoid. This is Delta-8 THC in liquid form, okay? And it is a new phytocannabinoid that is actually psychoactive, about 50% psychoactive of Delta-9. So not nearly as strong as Delta-9, but still has psychoactive ability. It helps with stress relief, anxiety relief, pain relief, anti-nausea, appetite acceleration, all the good things of medical marijuana without high-end paranoia, okay? But it took us researching hemp and CBD to find that we could actually produce Delta-8 as a product. We also now carry CBN. CBN is another phytocannabinoid that research indicates is the cannabinoid most closely associated with sedation and sleep, i.e. I tell folks CBN is cannabis's version of melatonin, okay? And I have a lot of customers who are finding a lot of relief, sleep relief, using CBN, who have used CBD for sleep as well, but might want something a little bit extra. Now CBN is really that phytocannabinoid, even more so than CBD, that's oriented for sleep. Another cannabinoid that you'll hear us talk a lot about is CBG, okay? CBG flower, CBG oil, okay? CBG, or cannabidiol, is the mother cannabinoid. And when we say mother cannabinoid, what we mean by that is that all other major and minor cannabinoids originate as CBGA, or cannabidiol acidic, or an acid liquid form, okay? So what does that mean? That means that if you were to test a little baby hemp plant, a little baby marijuana plant, okay, a little clone, and you were to test it, you would see that that little baby cannabis plant was 99% CBGA in its cannabinoid profile. You can think of a cannabinoid profile as an equalizer scale of all those 180 cannabinoids and the different percentages by dried weight volume. Your typical CBD flower, for example, has 15 to 25%, or I should say 10 to 20% CBDA or CBD by dried weight volume, with a whole bunch of other cannabinoids in minor percentages. CBG flower, which I have right here, this CBG flower from Hempco, if you can read it, I'm not sure if that's not actually look that good, let's go there, is 17% CBG by dried weight volume with very little CBD content. Well, CBG by itself has been shown to have some anti-anxiety properties. and some anti-tumor growth properties, right? But CBG now is actually gaining a lot of fame as an enhancer, okay? What it does is, because it's the original genetics, when you mix CBG back in with your CBD or other cannabinoid regimen, you're bringing those mother genetics back in, and it enhances and amplifies the effects of that product. So if you have an indica CBD oil that's really oriented for relaxation and sleep, and you mix that with CBG oil, you're gonna amplify the relaxation and sleep effects of that product. If you have a sativa product that's really focused at energy building, and you add CBG to that product, it's going to be that much more focused at energy building. So CBG, as the mother cannabinoid, is really gaining fame and traction as an amplifier, okay? So we don't just specialize in CBD here, okay? We specialize in cannabinoids, major and minor cannabinoids. And all of those different cannabinoids have different effects for people, okay? And they can work differently for people. And each individual's experience with cannabis and cannabinoids is different. And so what we specialize in is talking to you about your daily regimen, what you do, your employment, right? We've talked about that spectrum. We were talking about Delta-9 THC in full spectrum products, okay? Well, if you work for UPS or FedEx or the federal government, and you just can't risk, or you drive an 18-wheeler and you can't risk having THC in your system, that's why we have broad spectrum products. Broad spectrum products have all of the cannabinoids naturally prevalent in the plant and the phytonutrients, except the Delta-9 THC specifically has been removed or mitigated. So you can take a broad spectrum product, especially those from CBDMD. They specialize in being THC free, that's this other term, THC free, and not worry about having Delta-9 in your system. Another cannabinoid spectrum we have is isolate. Well, an isolate product is simply one cannabinoid. If it's just CBD, which is what we usually refer to it as, like this powdered isolate, this is CBD isolate. This is 99% CBD isolate, no other cannabinoids, no terpenes, it's just isolate CBD. However, any cannabinoid that's been isolated by itself is an isolate. So, in fact, this CBN is an isolate because it's only CBN and no other phytocannabinoid. This Delta-8 is a isolate because it's Delta-8 and no other major cannabinoid, okay? This is a full spectrum hemp oil that has both CBG and CBD in it, but it's full spectrum. So it has all of the natural occurring plant nutrients and terpenes from the CBG plant, all the natural occurring cannabinoids and terpenes from the CBD plant. Then the extracts have been mixed and infused into MCT oil. So this is a full spectrum product, while this is an isolate product, okay? Even though they're both in the bottle, they both look very similar. So education is really, really important, guys. What we want to do is make sure that you understand that this isn't just show up, drink some oil, oh, I feel amazing, right? The number one thing about CBD, from what we have found, is consistent, regular use, okay? That's also why we have so many delivery formats. We want to find a delivery vehicle that is the most effective and convenient for you, right? If you're a gummy person, then you like the gummies. If you're a chocolate person, you like the chocolate. If you're a tea person, you drink the tea, right? The oils come in lemon and raspberry and banana and peppermint and citrus and grapefruit, right? And honey infused, all these different flavor profiles, so you can find a flavor profile that you feel comfortable holding under your tongue for a minute to 2 minutes, right? But let's end this by saying this, okay? If you really want to find some relief by hemp and CBD, okay, the first thing you can do is you can work with us by going on our website, modernapotheca.us, and clicking the consult button. And we can do one of these distantly, right from Zoom, and have a one-on-one consultation about the kind of issues that you're dealing with, okay? But if you already are using CBD, or maybe you're going to buy it online, or maybe you'll shop with us online at modernapotheca.us, and you're trying to figure out how to do this for yourself. Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to identify that spectrum, okay? Here's the secret sauce, guys. You want to identify that spectrum. Can I afford to have Delta-9 THC in my system? Am I a high school football coach, right? Am I a high school football coach who's probably playing, I don't play Ridgeview anymore, but Spring Valley, but you know, I'm a high school football coach and I'm employed by a school district and I get drug tested and I don't feel comfortable having a full spectrum. Okay, then we're going broad spectrum with you, right? I am independent business owner. I have tons of chronic pain, and I'm trying to find a product that will just relieve my pain. Well, then you want to go full spectrum, right? You want to go full spectrum anytime you possibly can, unless you are dealing with standardized drug testing and you just can't afford it, right? That's the number one thing. Spectrum is about getting yourself not in employment trouble. That if you're being drug tested or you're on pain management and you're being drug tested, note this. Now, here's the other thing, guys. Federally legal. Hemp is federally legal. So Delta-9 THC up to 0.3% in hemp products is federally legal Delta-9 THC. You have every right to take these products even if your company does drug test you, okay? And so for most of our folks, we inform you, hey, go tell your HR director that for reasons that's none of their darn business, you are taking full spectrum hemp extract, and that if you ever need to be drug tested for any reason, you require to be sent to LabCorp or another professional drug testing laboratory who can then break down the difference between CBD and THC. Any drug testing facility easily can diagnose the difference between someone who is using marijuana and has a high level of Delta-9 THC in their system and someone who's using full spectrum hemp extract and has a fractional amount of Delta-9 in their system, but also a significant amount of CBD, okay? So they know what they're doing. What you don't want to do is be under the employment situation in which they're going to drug test you using a Walmart or take-it-home drug test that they bought on the internet or they bought from Walmart. Those only test for active cannabinoids in your system, and there's a good 5% chance or less that you would fail that test if you were on a full spectrum product. So what you want to do is demand from your employer that you get drug tested professionally at a laboratory so they can show that you are taking a full spectrum extract, which you're legally allowed to do. In fact, I have a customer, a regular customer of ours, who works for LabCorp and has told me they have an entire department who spends pretty much their entire day just differentiating between people saying they're using hemp but are actually using marijuana and people who are using hemp. It's a very easy thing to figure out when you look at the testing results. So if you can't afford to have Delta-9 THC or you don't want to risk it, you go broad spectrum. But if you really want to find the most relief you can, you go full spectrum. So once we've identified your spectrum, now we're going into your format. Are you dealing with stress and anxiety? If you're dealing with stress and anxiety, if it's generalized, i.e. I have stress and anxiety throughout the day regardless of the environment I'm in, then you really want to look at edibles and tincture as an everyday approach to your stress and anxiety. However, if you have situational anxiety where you find yourself just really stressed out or anxious in certain environments, maybe going grocery shopping, going to work, whatever that may be, vapables and smokables are really, really good because they're instantaneous and you only need them and you use them when you want. I have customers who keep our disposable vape pens in their nightstand for just finding when they can't sleep or they're up at 2 in the morning and want to fall back asleep. They take it, they take a puff or two, they fall back asleep. Some people keep it in their glove boxes, right? Keep it in your glove box, getting stress, anxiety, traffic, whatever it is. You have to go to the grocery store, you have to go to work. You have this in your car. I have plenty of folks who use this at home. You know, they have young kids, like my wife. I have young kids running around. 3 young kids can be very, very stressful. You keep this, you know, in your cabinet, and you go in the bathroom. You turn the fan on in the bathroom. You hit this. You blow it in the fan. There's no smell. There's no odor. The kids don't know. You find some relaxation. You go back to business. I have school teachers that are using these, that have them in their purses and use them. They take their lunch break. They go vape real quick, and they come back because they need that instantaneous relief. If you're not comfortable with that, tincture can be used the same way. You just want to give yourself a solid, 15 to 30 minutes for that to kick in before you expect those effects to kick in, right? And so that's how you use this. You find usually a primary and a secondary format. If you're dealing with pain management, you want to use edibles or tincture as your everyday regular use. Maybe use a topical in that exact area, but you also maybe look at tincture or a vapable or a smokable for your breakthrough pain. But that's what so many of our customers are doing, is they look for a dual format approach, okay? You take tincture or edibles or tea as your everyday approach. You don't want to wake up every day and put a roll-on on. You don't want to use every day and put a cream on as your everyday approach to pain management. So instead, you take your edible, you take your tincture every single day. And that's going to reduce the inflammation in your body. It's going to reduce the stress and anxiety that you're having. It's going to allow you to have a better, good feeling day where you feel healthy and able to go about your business. And then you're also going to have a vape stick or additional oil for those times where maybe you're dealing with pain and you just finished working out and now you're in a lot more pain and you want instantaneous relief. Maybe that's a really good time for post-workout recovery to use your oil. It's also a really good time to maybe hit a vape stick. It's also, most people don't think about this, but when you smoke hemp flower or you smoke a vape stick, it is a vasodilator, so it actually helps increase your blood flow. It's not nicotine, so we don't feel like it's a carcinogen. So there are some really good ways to use these products to find your relief, in situations in which you're in pain, you're stressed, you're anxious, or for me, you have too much energy. You guys remember when I started this video or the first video, I was pretty jumpy. You notice I took that oil, I hit my vape stick. This is about as calm as you see me, okay? And that wasn't a long time, but the vape stick helped me calm down instantaneously. The oil is now starting to kick in from when I first took it, and I'm nice and calm and relaxed and able to have a nice conversation with you at a slow enough speech level that you can hear me. Because sometimes I just talk like this and you don't know what I'm talking about because I get really excited and you don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm not there right now, right? And so this is what hemp does for me. Hemp helps me calm down. It helps me be a more attentive dad, a more attentive husband, a more attentive business owner. And I can listen better and I can pay attention better because ADHD is attention deficit. It takes me away and shiny things and shiny things. It helps me ignore the shiny things and pay attention to what I'm doing. And so for me, it's been amazing. For my wife, it has been an absolute godsend and a cure for her Crohn's disease. And so here at Modern Apotheca, that's what we do, guys. What I'll briefly leave you with is if you ever order from us, you'll get a little packet, you get one of these in your bag, okay? A couple things that we do here. Loyalty program sets us apart, okay? So every single dollar you spend with us, you get a point. You can use those points for 10, 15, or 20% off any order. We do same-day delivery in Raleigh-Durham. I know I have a lot of fans and family in South Carolina that follow us. We don't do same-day delivery right now in Columbia, South Carolina, but we have been discussing ways to get more involved in South Carolina. But here in Greater Raleigh-Durham, we do same-day delivery every day of the week. So if you order on our website by 6 o'clock, I pack it up in store. It goes in a nice little pretty purple bag like this. You'll get this information. If you need any special instructions, we'll put that in there. We try to make sure we leave you with all the information you need. Nice little tissue box, and this will go on your front doorstep, and we'll text you and let you know when it's there, okay? So I said I was gonna keep this short and sweet. We're already on number 2, but I hope this video has helped you. If you think of a friend or a family member or a loved one who is having any of those issues I talked about, sleep, pain, anxiety, stress, autoimmune disorder, ADHD, autism spectrum. There's just folks that are finding relief from CBD and hemp extract and other minor and major cannabinoids across the board, all walks of life, all age ranges. It is something that can help you find relief. You just need to give it a try. And here's my plea with you. Give it a try before you start looking at hardcore pharmaceuticals. That's the biggest thing for us, is that if we can keep you from going on to Ativan or oxycodone or hydrocodone or any of these biologics or hardcore pharmaceuticals that they're prescribing us for everyday ailments and issues, try hemp first. Because I promise you, you can find relief if you use it the right way, and you can do it without using synthetic hardcore synthetic pharmaceuticals, and instead use naturally grown plants and remedies from the cannabis plant. Guys, this is now legal. This is part of us going forward. Let's just go ahead and get past all the stigma, and let's go ahead and legalize medical marijuana nationwide, so people all across the country can find relief. 93% of the nation has access to medical marijuana along with CBD. Only 7% of us, like us in North Carolina, have only access to hemp-derived cannabinoids. So know that cannabis is changing lives. It's changed my life. It's changed my wife's life. And we hit rock bottom, and this flower, this plant, brought us back and brought us to a point that we are happier and healthier and living a more full life than we ever have before and we ever imagined possible for us. So thank you for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate your time. I hope that you learned a little bit. Please, please, please use us as a resource. Call us, email us, set up a consultation so that we can talk about how this plant can help you. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you are well.